Greetings and salutations, my beautiful people, and welcome to It Came From England, the show where I always do the dirty deed of deciding whether or not British pop culture deserves to be praised or shunned. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about another British YouTuber. Now, in past episodes of It Came From England, I did, 4 episodes. I've done 4 episodes relating to Dalek 44, very fitting because of, the 4. I've done, a regular review of his. I've done the top 5 best second co-episodes with Unikitty as the main character. And there was a recent 2-part episode that I did, the Q&A, where I asked him questions, and he was a guest star, and he answered, the questions I asked him. And yes, I guess you could technically say Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared counts as a YouTuber because they're on YouTube and they uploaded all 6 episodes of the show. Yeah, but yes, we're talking about another British YouTuber, this time, another first for this series, because obviously this is the first season of It Came From England. There's going to be a lot of firsts. But this will be the first time we'll be talking about a British YouTuber who talks about video games. If you, for whatever reason, have not figured out who I'm talking about today, I am talking about, of course, Caddicarus. So, Caddicarus, or Jim Caddick, as his full name is, according to his Twitter account, is a British YouTuber who, for a couple years, has been doing videos on YouTube, reviewing video games, both the good and the bad. And in his main show, the Caddicarus Show, quite an original title, he pretty much talks about the games in full depth, talk about the gameplay, the graphics, any other little details that he wants to mention, while throwing in a couple jokes along the way. And then at the end of the episodes, or at least a majority of them, the modern ones don't really follow this formula so much. At the end of them, he would choose whether or not they would get slaughtered or salvaged. If a game is good, he will salvage it, he will bring it up to heaven. If it's, really bad, he will slaughter it, he'll take a gun and he'll just, shoot the game like that. Or if it's, in the middle, he would, do a rating called the Salvaged, where he would take it up to heaven, and as soon as it's up there, he'll take the gun, and then he'll shoot the game back down. I always found those to be the funniest to look at, just for that reason alone. Now, I honestly didn't know this until I was, researching for this video. Caddicarus' YouTube channel first began around September 10th, 2011, which was 5 months after my channel started. I also didn't know this guy has been on YouTube for a shorter period of time than I did. That's interesting. I remember my Dalek 44 episode, I mentioned how he first came on YouTube in 2007, so I'm surprised, to be honest. I didn't know. So around the time I've recorded this video, Caddicarus has a total of 189 videos from the Caddicarus Show. And the very first one started with being Rascal Racers, the first game he ever reviewed as part of the show. And the game has, become kind of a recurring gag on the Caddicarus Show itself. It'll show up every now and then. That kind of stuff. The typical, oh man, this first thing that I reviewed is, gonna haunt me for the rest of my time doing this. AVGN has done it in the past with, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, so, yeah, didn't really know what else to expect, but anyways, how did Caddicarus get so popular, you may ask? Well, I don't have a definitive answer for how he became popular. I don't think anybody really knows how he became popular, but I do have a theory about why I think he became popular, and that will probably be thanks to a particular episode of the Caddicarus Show where he reviewed I guess you can kind of say a bootleg video game under the name Dalmatians 3, and the title of the episode he gave it was The Worst Game Ever Made, in all caps. That video alone was, at least how I think, was what got most people interested in Caddicarus, myself included. But in that particular episode, he was reviewing a game. I don't know if you would really call it a game, but it was Dalmatians 3, which on the cover of that game, it makes it look like it's based on Disney's 101 Dalmatians movie. But if you play the game and you look at the 45-minute long cutscene or whatever you would call it, I don't know if I would call it like a cutscene or a little mini movie. I would call it a mini movie, but it was 45 minutes long. It had nothing to do with 101 Dalmatians. It was just a way to, I guess, get consumers to buy the game because, oh look, mommy, there's 101 Dalmatians on it. Let's go buy it. Okay, son, I guess so. I'm not even gonna pay attention. Swipe. And yeah, I was quite surprised when I first heard about this thing, this Dalmatians 3 game, I guess you kind of call it. The only thing about Dalmatians 3 that was actually a game was just, a bunch of puzzles, like, literal puzzles, coloring book pages, which you can, like, easily do in real life on actual paper. That doesn't make any sense to me, but that's what the game parts of Dalmatians 3 was. And in Caddicarus' review, he complains about, the fact that, they tricked people into thinking this was like an actual Disney licensed property, but it's not. And a lot of the criticism was, of course, towards the mini-movie, the animation, the voice acting, the audio, all sorts of stuff. But I don't think I really have much else to talk about with that video. That was probably the one video I kind of wanted to talk about with the most when it came to Caddicarus, because that's like his most popular video, the one that I assume got the most amount of attention from a lot of people. Correct me if I'm wrong. And something I forgot to mention earlier in the episode, but a majority of the games that Caddicarus reviews on his show are from Sony consoles. PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation Vita, PSP, PlayStation 3, PS4, PS5 when that comes out. Like, he's probably gonna review, like, everything PlayStation related. And I heard it's mostly because, like, the PS1 is his all-time favorite console. I mean, if you look at the guy's current logo, it's based on the PlayStation 1, it's got, like, the little buttons, the X, the square, the triangle, and the circle. Yeah, he's quite a fan of the PlayStation consoles, and honestly, I don't blame him. Like, I like the Sony consoles. There's a good chunk of games for them. My second favorite kind of consoles out there besides Nintendo. So that's mainly what he reviews. But it's not just video games that he reviews. Oh, no. In recent years, Caddicarus has reviewed other things besides video games on his main show, including direct-to-video movies, actual TV shows, and in one instance, I find this to be ridiculously funny that somebody decided to do a review of this. But one of the earliest reviews I ever saw of his that was not a video game was, I shit you not, the DVD menu for the Jim Carrey Grinch movie. I'm dead fucking serious. But now that I think about it, a lot of other YouTubers who review video games have also done this. It's not just Caddicarus. I've seen JonTron do it, I've seen Brutal Moose do it, I've seen Peanut Butter Gamer do it. They all do it to some degree. So, it's nothing new. Oh, but what's Caddicarus' favorite game on the PS1, Tyler? Well, that's a very easy question. If you guys have looked throughout the Caddicarus show, or just his channel in general, his favorite PS1 games would definitely be the original Crash Bandicoot Trilogy and Crash Team Racing. So, yeah, he's dedicated a good chunk of his reviews to Crash Bandicoot games. He's reviewed all the Naughty Dog games, he's reviewed Crash Bash, The Wrath of Cortex, the first Crash Bandicoot game on the Game Boy Advance, and I guess in general the first Crash game outside of, PlayStation consoles. He also recently reviewed Twinsanity. The list goes on, he's a big Crash fan. And I guess, his interest in Crash kind of grew on me. To be honest, I've never really grown up with Crash that much. my first time playing a Crash game was the N-Sane Trilogy, so you could tell how much of a noob I am to the franchise. But yeah, Caddicarus, Crash Bandicoot, his favorite franchise of all time, at least when it comes to video games. So much so that as of 2018, he's dedicated every June to Bandicoot Month, where he reviews Crash Bandicoot related things, whether it's a list videos of stuff related to the games, like the levels or the bosses, or just, you know, normal reviews like he normally does, like with Twinsanity, and he even reviewed the little Crash cartoon that was rumored to originally be a part of the original game, but it never got released. Now, while for the most part I am quite a fan of Caddicarus, I love his videos, they always give me a smile, they make me laugh a lot. There's probably one thing I'm gonna be, you know, kind of criticizing him about, and that would be his top 10 worst North American box art covers of PlayStation 1 games. Most notably, a few particular parts, I'm only going to be talking about two. The first one I'm going to be talking about was number 9 on this list, which was the North American cover for Tomba, or Tombi, as it's called in Europe. He criticized how the cover of the North American version looked kind of bland compared to the European version, which looked like it was like done using like stop motion characters in a way, which, yeah, I don't blame him on that part, but I do want to blame him on is the title change between the North American version and the European version. Now, he criticized how the game was referred to as Tomba in North America, and he personally prefers the European name for it, which is like, it's whatever. But I know his main reason for saying, oh, it's called Tomba in North America because of Honda, which I know it was a joke, but like, I don't know. But I do want to tell you one thing, Caddicarus, if you're watching this video, I highly doubt it, but like, if you are, I researched this. Tomba is, for the most part, called the same thing in Japan, which, by the way, that game was made in Japan, so yeah, they were kind of the ones that originated the Tomba name. In Japan, the game is called Ore Tomba, which translates to Me Tomba. So yeah, just wanted to point that out to you, Caddy. And the other thing he mentioned in the video that pretty much got a lot of people kind of pissed at him, and myself included, was the inclusion of Spyro 2. Now, it wasn't the box art that was like kind of the problem. He kind of criticized, that just like the Tomba one, it was like bland compared to the European version. But just like with Tomba, he did complain about the name difference between the North American release and the PAL release, or European, whatever you want to call it. He complained how in North America it's Ripto's Rage. He was like, well, Ripto's Rage, it kind of means that, oh, this is a revenge story, which, no, it's not. I am on Google right now, and I am researching the definition for rage, and the first result that comes up is violent, uncontrollable anger. Now, what part of violent, uncontrollable anger relates to revenge? I don't know. So, in my opinion, the reason why the North American title for Spyro 2 makes a lot of sense is because, Ripto's the main bad guy, and, he gets all angry as soon as Spyro showed up because he hates dragons. And, yeah, that's what causes him to be violent. Ripto's rage. Ripto's violent, uncontrollable anger. Also in the video, he also stated, like, oh, Spyro 2, Gateway to Glimmer would always be my preferred title for the game, which, just like with the Tombi thing, whatever. But a lot of people in the comments of his video have, kind of complained about that, myself included. I didn't make a comment about it, but, like, I'm like, yeah, that was kind of a stupid statement that you mentioned there. He said, like, as I already mentioned with Ripto's Rage, he mentioned, like, oh, it's like a revenge story, but that's not true. I already proved that it's not true. He said, Gateway to Glimmer makes a lot more sense because Spyro enters through Glimmer, and that's where the adventure starts. Which to some extent is right, but there's one flaw. Glimmer is the name of the first level in Spyro 2. It's not the name of the entire world. The entire world in Spyro 2 is named... Fuck, what was its name? Avalar, that's its name. Okay, sorry for forgetting about it for a second there, but wouldn't the title instead should be changed from Gateway to Glimmer to Gateway to Avalar? Like, I feel like that would make a lot more sense with me. And people in the comments of his YouTube video have said, oh, that's like calling Super Mario 64 Bob-omb Battlefield, even though Bob-omb Battlefield has nothing to do with the entire game. Just like how Glimmer has nothing to do with the entirety of Spyro 2. But other than that whole tangent with, you know, Spyro 2's title change and Tomba's title change, nothing else really bothers me about Caddicarus besides that little thing with the top 10 worst North American box art covers for PS1 games, but yeah. Also, just want to point out one more thing. In his top 10 worst things about the Spyro Reignited Trilogy video, he kind of complained about Ripto's voice a little bit in that game, which, in case you don't know Caddicarus, Ripto, in the original trilogy, is voiced by the same guy who voiced him in the Reignited Trilogy. That's like me saying, oh, this thing is worse than this thing, even though they're literally the same fucking thing. Come on, man. And also another statement regarding the Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage title. You do realize Insomniac Games, the developer of the original Spyro games, is American. It's an American development studio, meaning they're the ones that came up with the title for Ripto's Rage. So the people behind Spyro originally came up with that title, but you think the title is like not as good as the one that the European version gave. Like I said, it's not a huge deal, but like it just sounds weird, like the way you said it and whatnot. That's just my opinion. Alright, I think that's all I gotta talk about with Caddicarus. That's about it for this episode of It Came From England. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. This is the final episode of the first season, in case you guys are wondering. So, season 2, I don't know if it's gonna happen yet for sure. I'm still waiting for one of the episodes of It Came From England to reach around 100 views in order for me to consider making a season 2. I do that with a lot of my other shows on this channel as well. Just have a view goal, and yeah, as soon as a certain episode or a certain episode from a certain season reaches a certain amount of views, I will make the next season. I've done that a lot of times in the past. Some of you are like, oh, why are you doing that? That's so cheap. You do realize you're making this content for free. But that just shows me that people want to watch my stuff. That's why I do it. And that's why I'm waiting for one of my It Came From England episodes to reach 100 views in order for me to do a season 2. Just to see if people want to see more episodes, which I hope you guys do. If you guys want to see more episodes, let me know in the comments down below. That'll also help my decision as well. But anyways, that's about it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you liked this episode, feel free to give it a like. Hit subscribe if you want to see season 2 of It Came From England, and all my other plush videos in the mediocre quality, of course. Leave a comment down below letting me know what you think of this episode, and if you want to see a season 2 of It Came From England happen. That is about it. This is Tyler from the Character Workshop, signing out. I got nothing else to say at the very end. That's for you guys to decide, see if season 2 is going to happen or not.